my name is Sienna Lopez, and for my final project I decided to interview people in a documentary style video to kind of dissect and analyze how their cultural backgrounds, their age, their sexual identity, their gender identity, how all of those things have affected their thoughts on love, kinship, sex, and all that, including myself. And at the end I'll be analyzing it and kind of seeing where there's some common ground, where the differences are. So here are some of their answers to some questions that I asked them, and I'll be analyzing that at the end of the video as well as in my artist statement. So yeah.
I'm Enzo Leon, I'm 21 years old, I'm Peruvian, and I was born in Lima, Peru.
Hello, my name is Keelan. I'm from Sacramento, California. I'm 20 years old, and I am Filipino and white.
My name's Simone. I'm 20, I'm gonna be 21 in 10 days. I'm black and white, and I'm from Sacramento.
Hi, my name is Julia Rodriguez. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Sacramento, California. My ethnicity is white and Hispanic.
My name is Sienna Lopez. I am 20 years old. I'm from Sacramento, California, and I am Mexican.
I was raised by my grandma. We lived in a house, my grandma, my sister, and my uncle, and me. And then we moved here when I was 10 years old. We moved here from Lima, Peru when I was 10. My mom was already here living. She moved out of Peru when I was 3. So, but that's who basically raised me, was my grandma. I live with my parents now, with my mom, my stepdad, and my sister.
I have one sister. She's 3 years older than me. She lives in San Diego. I have my mom and my dad. They've been divorced since I was 3 years old. I live with my dad. I used to go back and forth, but then my mom moved to Roseville, and so now I just live with my dad, and I see her every once in a while.
My parents are not together. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. 2 of my brothers are from my dad. 2 of my brothers are from my mom, and my 3 other brothers are from my dad, and my 2 sisters are from my dad.
I have one older brother. He's only 2 years older than me. For a majority of my childhood, my parents were together. They split up when I was 16.
So a little bit about my background. I grew up with both of my parents, and like I said, I'm Mexican, and they are pretty traditional in, I guess, like the cultural aspects. I also have a younger sister, and we are 10 years apart.
To me, it's like 2 things pop in my head. Sex is like sex that a couple or people have, or gender, male or female.
My definition of sex is when 2 people get together and have intercourse or do sexual things.
My definition of sex is love, because for me personally, I can't have sex with someone I don't love. It's physical, and you benefit from it.
My definition of sex can be kind of 2 things. I think it either means like sex as in intercourse, like 2, whether it be same sex or different sex, partners coming together, and yeah, I mean, everybody knows what sex is, right, I think. And then my other definition would just be like how somebody represents themselves, whether they see themselves as male, female, or non-gender.
My definition of sex, I feel like, is a little bit by the book. I would say when I think of sex, I think of intercourse between a man and a woman and a woman. Basically just that act of being intimate with somebody else.
Easy, boy or girl. Like, I don't know if you can get me like simpler than that.
I guess my definition of gender is a male and a female.
When I think of gender, I think of boy and girl.
I guess my definition of gender would be how somebody views themselves, if they view themselves as primarily a male or a female.
I guess my definition of gender would be kind of the group that you're put into, whether you're a boy or a girl, and obviously there are a bunch of other genders that people can associate themselves with, but in terms of me, when I hear gender, that's what I think of.
I honestly don't know what that means.
My definition of kinship is when two people connect, just like in Avatar when they connected their tails together. I just feel like that's very kin.
Kinship. I've never heard that word.
My definition of kinship means somebody you are related to.
My definition of kinship would be obviously the relation, the blood relation, so like family.
Sex and gender, kind of the same meaning to me. Like sex is, you know, what's sex for you, male, female, and gender, male, female, and whatever, you know. And there's like kinship, I don't know what that.
These things relate to each other because if you have good kinship, then the two genders can have good sex.
Because you can have sex with a boy and a girl and a girl, a boy and a boy, and whatever's in between.
Because family, like, in order to create a family, you kind of have to have sex, you know?
These things relate to each other because sex and gender, I feel like, they go hand in hand, but they're also very different at the same time. I feel like most of the time they're kind of confused for each other, and so I guess depending on your sex, that could affect your gender identity. And kinship has a lot to do with both of those things, I think, because the relationship with your family, I feel like, is kind of one of the first relationships that you kind of cultivate. And in terms of like myself, my family played a huge role in the way that I view both of those words.
There's not one single explanation. Like there's 1,000 little things in my head that like love, like they're just different meanings to me, so I don't really have one specific one.
My definition of love is always caring about somebody and showing them that you're going to be there for them no matter what, through thick and thin.
My definition of love is something, relationship-wise, something you can only feel with one person. Love is how you care for someone, how you treat them, how you view them.
My definition of love is, I think love is, it's not one thing. There's different levels of love, and I feel like love can be between two people, it can be between multiple people, and there's like self-love. So I just feel like there's different levels, and by levels I mean like you could feel like you literally can't live without that person, like you have to have them in your life, like you would do anything for them, like literally take a bullet, like your last fry, it's their fry, like just little things where you're just like sitting there and you're like, what's that person doing? Or there's like the love that you have for like your family where you're like, okay, I can love you, but I can be away from you, but I still want to, you know, check how you're doing. And then there's like that love where like, okay, I'm gonna love you from a distance. Like also there's like a difference between family love and like romantic love.
My definition of love, to just be plain and simple, I feel like love is a feeling that happens when you deeply care for someone. Love differs from person to person. For me, love is when I care about someone, I want the best for them. I have no problem taking care of them before myself. It's definitely a deeper connection, and love for me is different from friend to family to significant other. It's all very different, so it's a really broad word.
Love wasn't ever defined to me, like it's just always been coming at me different ways. It's just, I don't have one simple, like one direct explanation for it.
Love was never defined to me.
Like, it wasn't really defined to me. I had to figure it out by myself. I didn't get, this is what happens when you're in a relationship. I kind of figured it out for myself and figured out what it means for someone to love you. Previous relationships, you really think someone loves you until you get with someone else and they show you what their definition of love means.
I feel like love is kind of defined like throughout life, like multiple times. Like people will try to tell you like what love is, but I personally don't think that it was ever defined to me where I was like, yeah, that's the definition of love. One thing I can say is my mom taught me, you know, like love over hate, like love everybody, like love is blind, like there's no like race, color, anything, like just love all. So I feel like maybe that's what I was kind of taught by, like defined as love, that love is like something for everyone.
Love was never really explicitly defined to me, like this is what someone does when they love you, this is what love is. Love was kind of a taboo thing to talk about, in my family at least. Love was more like familial love, like we love our family, so we take care of them if we can take care of them. You know what I mean? Love was you do things and go out of your way for people that you love, because that's what love is, you know? You help them out and you want them to do good and you want them to succeed. So that's kind of how love was defined to me. In terms of like relationship love, was never defined to me, was never really talked about in my household, and you know, obviously until I got older. But even then, it was very just like short.
I express love in different ways. It depends who the person is, to be honest. Like if you're like one of my boys, one of my friends, like I'll make fun of you, but that's just me loving you. My love is both physical and verbal.
I express love by always showing someone that I'm always going to be there for them no matter what. Telling them I care about them or telling them I love them.
I express love physically, emotionally, verbally, any way there is to express it.
I'm a big giver, whether that be like more materialistic, I feel like, but it's not always materialistic. You will know I am giving you love because I'm constantly wanting to like grab on you, like whether it be like relationship or like family. I'm just like very like cuddly. Like if I'm close to you, I feel comfortable enough to like cuddle with you, like watch movies with you. Even if you're like my girlfriend coming over to watch Netflix, like, or walking through the store together like I do to you, like grab onto your arm, like so I feel like I show it both like through my actions as well as like straight up just telling somebody I love you. But I definitely feel like I struggle personally more with like expressing it word wise, because I feel like as humans, like one of our biggest fears, or at least mine, is rejection, and that comes with love, telling somebody you love them. So
I express love in a very, it just differs from person to person in my life. I would say I am a very affectionate, a physically affectionate person. So when I'm in love or I love people, I do, you know, like to hug them and kiss them. But even verbally, I like to say the words, I love you, you know, and let them know that I care about them.
Love is expressed to me in a lot of ways. Like just, there's, like I said, there's not one specific way that was expressed to me. Just motherly love, like my mom loves me 24/7. My grandma, my sister, or more affection than verbally.
I guess you could say through sex. My parents used to hug me once in a while.
Love was expressed to me, I think I felt it more like from anyone else, it was from my mom. She always made sure that I knew I was loved. If it wasn't nobody else that loved me, she always made sure that she loved me. Yeah, a lot of physical affection. She told me a lot, and I just felt a connection with her that I haven't felt with any other relative.
my mom is definitely an over top lover. Like she's like a Care Bear angel. Like I definitely felt the love from her. She would always have no issue telling me it and expressing it. My dad, on the other hand, it was more kind of like, I'm beating your butt because I love you, or I'm talking this way to you because I love you. It was more of a tough love, like I love you, but you're not gonna be able to tell I love you type.
Love wasn't expressed through like physical affection or verbal affection. I could probably count on one hand how many times my parents said the words, I love you. So it wasn't really verbal, it was just through their actions. They did things that other people wouldn't. They went out of their way, you know, to do things that not everybody's parents do. So they continuously showed me that they loved me through their actions and what they did for me. Yeah, so it was just more through actions.
My definition of a man is someone who takes care of their family, loves their loved ones, and if you're like a man, then you get stuff done and you handle it.
Being a man entails doing the heavy lifting and doing the hard work, protecting the family.
Definition of being a man is being tough. Like, you're not supposed to show your feelings, or you're only ever supposed to be angry. You're not supposed to feel pretty much anything other than anger. You're not supposed to show weakness, basically. They don't want to feel weak.
So I think a man is somebody who like is respectable, takes care of his stuff, has like goes to work, just takes care of stuff, not late. Also, I think somebody who like is protective, like you can feel protected around them.
And when I think of the word man, I think of someone who provides for his family. I think of a rock emotionally, because at least the way that my upbringing was, the men were very strong and they didn't really show emotions, and even the women. But I think, you know, growing up, my dad was very adamant about me finding a man that was a man, you know, and his definition of a man was someone who was strong emotionally, who was strong mentally, who could provide for their family, who was kind of, you know, essentially this macho man.
Oh, there's a lot of women that are bosses. They're like men. So, I mean, some women may be weak. Some are really like guys, like men. They get stuff done as well, and they demand stuff. They get their stuff done. To me, it's not no one above, one down, one above. Or woman has to stay at home and cook and clean. No, like maybe she makes more money than the guy does. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always. So that's not how I see it. Like how I grew up, is everything's always been equal. Nothing's really been like, oh, the girl has to stay at home and take care of the kids. Well, basically, when I got here, my mom was basically she still not takes care of me, but like helps me with stuff. But she's always had to do everything, like with my school, my first job. She's helped me out so much. It's just been her. Like she's like basically my dad and my mom.
Being a woman entails taking care of the kids, making dinner.
Being a woman, obviously my mom has been in my life forever, and when I think of woman, I think of like her. She's strong, she's independent, she's never really needed anybody. She's always done it on her own.
I feel like a woman is more of a nurture side. So maybe like kind of in the sense like a nature versus nurture, like the guy's more of like the, and the girl's kind of like the loving, caring, like just a mom. Like when I picture girls, delicate, like that's what I picture women.
I think of a woman, I think of someone who is strong emotionally so that they're able to take care of their families and be nurturers. Yeah, and someone who is, you know, delicate, but not too delicate. It's like this very vague description, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think I would say women are strong and also have a soft side.
Generals I've seen it growing up since I grew up with my grandma. She never worked. Stayed home, took care of us, helped us with our homework, cooked for us, for my sister, my uncle, and me. So that's what I like, you know. I see my grandma like doing general as a female. The mom staying home, doing this and that for the kids. But my mom, when I moved here, my mom did that. She cooked, cleaned, helped us, and still went to work and still provided for us. She was doing 2 jobs at the same time. My grandpa expected my grandma to like stay home. I'm gonna give you money. You know, I work, so I'm gonna give you money so you cook and clean and just keep the house neat and take care of the kids.
The gender roles are usually very girl dominant in my work life. The owner of my store is a girl, and then in a past relationships, my ex, she was very masculine in the ways like she played sports.